Hello and welcome back to the Love Talk, and right now it's Dear Love Talk,
Yes.
where we answer to your questions, concerns, doubts, or maybe you're seeking guidance in regard to your relationship or your love life.
You know, so many people nowadays, they go through difficulties in their love life and they ask their friends, their family advice, but they sometimes don't get the advice that helps them. So that's why we have created the segment in the program to have your questions answered. Maybe you have a very specific question, some problem, something, some doubt you have in your love life, in your relationship, and you'd like us to answer you. You can email us at questions@lovetalkshow.tv.
That's right. So this segment has the intention, the purpose of helping you. As she was saying, sometimes we seek help in the wrong places, sometimes the wrong people, not necessarily bad people, but people who perhaps don't have what it takes to give you the right advice. So we're here to do our best to answer those questions and help you in the best way possible. Okay? So let's go with the first question then.
The first question is, how do I know my partner is marriage material?
How did you know I was marriage material?
With you is, I think, the first thing, you see, each case is different. Now, you can't generalize and say, if this happens, then the person is marriage material. It depends, it varies. But I think with you, for me, what made you marriage material at first, before I even really knew him, was the fact that you didn't rush our relationship, you know. You were very patient in the sense that, you know, although you had feelings for me, we were friends. So it wasn't something, okay, let's date already, let's get engaged, or let's... So there was time for me to know, to kind of know you, who you were. And when we really started dating, then I knew you a lot. I knew already quite a bit. And when he proposed, I was ready to say yes. So I think one of the things, apart from many other things, the first thing for me was that. I think if the person is rushing too much, although they don't know each other very well, a person can't even think about marriage, I think.
I think it's a combination of various things,
Yes.
right? You have to really observe the person, look at the person's intentions, plans, goals, what do you have in common?
Very important.
Right? So it's important that you analyze those things and many other things that you have to put in consideration, take in consideration, pardon me. It's not simply by just looking at the person, per se, or just spending a few days or a few hours together, going out, you know, for a few times. No, you need to know in details, right? For example, in her case, things that I observed about her was, that she was reserved, okay? One of the things, for example, in my case that I didn't like, and until today I don't like, is like women who are very loud, you know, very forward, and this is something that she wasn't. So she was very reserved. Once she knew that I liked her, she never made any moves, she never showed that she was desperate to be with me, so she kept, you know, her coolness. She was, as I said, reserved. She waited for me, not only to make the first move, but the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, as many as moves were necessary. So there are various things you need to analyze there. I don't know if the question comes from a man or a woman, but you have to take a lot of things in consideration. It's not simply, you know, liking, finding the person cute,
or even,
or maybe he's got money, she's got money, or, you know, we click. You know, for the past few months, we've seen that there is a chemistry there.
Or there was chemistry from the beginning.
From the beginning. Be careful. You don't want to put yourself in a situation in which you regret later on. There are many things you have to take in consideration because you are talking about marriage. So marriage is for life, right?
Yeah, and it's not only about, okay, he wants or she wants to be married, or he proposed and it's enough. I say you can only know if the person is for marriage when you allow yourself to get to know the person. And we're not saying date forever, date for 10 years, but while you're dating, make sure that you get to know.
Extract as much as possible, right? For example, if it's a man, so who is he? What is his perspective, right? Or his plans for the future? You know, one thing that I learned with my father, for example, I will never forget this. He used to tell me, if you want to take a woman out of her parents' house, make sure you give either the same or at least, you know, the same or even better than what her parents are offering her. So if you have a partner, you know, a man that you're considering husband material, then he's going to offer you not only luxury but protection. We will be there for you. He will be the man of the house. Do you see him as a man who you lead or simply a young man, a boy?
Is he someone you can trust, for example? Do you trust? So it's many things to take into consideration.
Yeah, lots of things. So let's go into the next question now. What are the 3 top things to maintain a healthy relationship? The 3 top things to maintain a healthy relationship. Well, there are various things that you can use to maintain a healthy relationship, but I can say one of the things is communication.
Oh, yes.
Communication is vital, is paramount. No communication, but when we talk about communication, we're not just simply saying when you talk and, you know, while watching TV or while driving, you know, while, you know, riding the public transportation. No, it's when you sit like we're here, you sit down and you talk. While one is talking, the other is listening. And the one who is listening waits for the one who is talking to finish. So the other can then, you know, say something. So this is communication. It's not speaking over each other. It's not, you know, cutting the other in the middle. It's not when in a rush. It's taking time to invest in this relationship because it's an investment.
Yeah, talking effectively, because talking, most people do, but they can't, communicating effectively. They can communicate, but it gets nowhere. One other thing that I would say, I'll leave the third one to you, is making time for each other, which many couples, before they get married, they usually make time for each other. They usually go on dates. They make the time that they are together special. And after they are married, it kind of stops. Some people stop. So they never invest anymore on each other. Sometimes they have kids, so now, you know, everybody's busy. Both of them are very busy. There isn't even time to talk because they don't invest, they don't make time. And even though, nowadays everybody's very busy, it's important to make time. I think if this is something that you make priority in your relationship, it will help keep the relationship healthy.
Exactly. And we see that when you make time for the other person, you are keeping the relationship healthy. You maintain that relationship, you know, in a good level because you are making time for each other. You don't take the other for granted anymore because that's what some couples they tend to do. They get married and they take the other for granted. You know, we've been together for a few years, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You know,
she knows me,
he knows me, and etc. So it's almost like 2 friends or maybe even strangers in the house. So these are 2 things that you can do in order to maintain your relationship health. What about the third one?
I think one thing that's very important, and we are always mentioning that on our seminars, is to meet the other's need. This is when usually relationships start going wrong because I have my needs, you have yours. If I think about my needs, whether you are meeting them or not, all I see is whether I have what I need from this relationship and I forget about yours. So you neglected. Once you're neglected, for sure, you're going to start neglecting me. So I think to be concerned and to make the other's needs a priority, I think that really helps keep the relationship.
There must be compromise. okay? A compromise, so that you don't step on each other, right? You don't only think about yourself, become selfish, but you meet, as you put it very well, you meet the other's needs. So communication, right? What else?
Making time
Making
for each
time
other.
and compromising. Okay, so if you want us to answer to your questions, you send your questions to questions at lovetalkshow.tv, and we'll be more than glad to answer to your questions and help you overcome those barriers in your love life. Keep them coming.